was at the gym and I came across a personal trainer that was there. We started to debate about how to do a proper squat. And I think it's just really interesting how people have been doing squats for centuries, and yet it is still up for debate on what's right and what's wrong, and people feel very passionately about it. But basically, what we try to do in a squat is find proper balance. So, if you try to do a traditional squat and you try to get as low as you can, sometimes in an effort to keep our balance, some of us don't squat as low as others. There could be some reasons for that. It could be some tightness in the hips, ankles, or calves. But let's just say all those things are correct. It literally could boil down to something as simple as your form. I'm just going to explain to you the way I do it and the reason why. Now, take a look at the way I do this squat here and where this debate started. So a lot of times the debate happens in a squat. I wanted to show you this picture first. On if you lean too far forward, people will say that you're going to hurt your back because of the lean. But if we're trying to find balance, that picture that you just saw showed that balance comes when the barbell is right over the middle of your foot. Now, when you take a look at the way that I squat, I typically do a low bar squat because in a low bar squat, I'm able to put the barbell across the widest part of my back where I have the most muscle. And because I have more muscle there, I'm able to lift the most amount of weight possible. Now, because I do take that low bar squat, I have to lean forward more than normal in order to get that barbell balanced over the middle of my foot. Now, what would happen if, like a lot of people say, well, you're gonna hurt your back that way. What would happen if instead of leaning as much as I do here, that I went more into a straight up and down back angle? Well, then the weight would not be over the middle of my foot. The weight would literally be behind me, behind my foot, and I would fall backwards. Or worse yet, my back would have to compensate as the body's always trying to find balance. And that's where injuries start to happen. Injuries on a squat will typically happen because we're not balancing the weight over the middle of our foot, or we're not contracting or squeezing the right muscles as we intend to. So take a look at the picture again. Depending on how you're loading the weight, even if this is with dumbbells, the same rules apply. We want to find balance, and depending on how you're holding the weight will depend on how your back angle will be. So instead of focusing on that lean, which is really a result of your body's anatomy, the one thing that we can all pretty much control is whether or not you have a curve in your low back or not. If this is overextended, this is how you get low back problems. If you are overextending up here, that's how you get back problems. It's not the angle, it's the curve. Now, it is true that for some people, they are not able to get as low into their squat, in part because they have maybe some weak glutes or tightness in the hips, calves, or ankles. What I find most of the time is it's just a matter of form and doing things correctly. Take a look at this. Now, all of us sit in a chair. And how do you get in and out of a chair, particularly out of a chair? I'm demonstrating here how I am trying my best to not lean forward. I'm just gonna try to keep my back angle straight up and down. And I can't do it. I cannot get out of that chair without leaning forward. And I'm gonna encourage you guys, try this at home, sit in a chair, and a chair, sitting in that chair is just like going into any kind of a squat. Now, when you come out of that chair, try to do it without holding on to anything, and try to do it with a vertical 90-degree back angle like some people would suggest squats should be done. And you're gonna find that your knees are gonna really bother you if you really try to force it. Now try to lean forward a little bit where your shoulders, right where your armpit is, your shoulders are right over the middle of your foot, and then come out of the chair. You will find that it is way easier to get out of that chair when you have enough of a lean forward because your body is in balance. You won't have pain in the knees, and fortunately, or hopefully, you won't have pain in your back either. So whenever I have a new client, one of the very first things that we do is how to do a proper squat that allows them to get to the depth that they need to lift the maximum amount of weight possible and to do it safely. For some people, if you have that long torso, your lean forward is not going to be as much. But if you have long legs and a short torso, we're going to have to lean over a little bit more. So, as always, you can reach out to me, Coach Rico Strong on Instagram. If you're part of the Good Man Strongman program, you can reach out on Good Man Strongman on Instagram, and the website will be coming soon after this video. Stay tuned for more videos and more tips that might help you in your workout performance. Until then, I'll see you next time.